The Utah Jazz just had possibly the best return in this year's draft.
Here comes Rice, a race by Williams.
And a 5 to the jumper. It goes! A 3! Good hands by Ellis, getting the deflection. Collier, the exclamation point!
And when I say this might have been the best draft, not only did every media publication grade it incredibly highly, but Utah got two players in Kyle Filipowski and Isaiah Collier, who were predicted by many to be drafted in the lottery with pretty much second round picks. But this is nothing new for Danny Ainge or the Jazz, because ever since he's taken over, it's been right move after right move after right move, to the point where in a span of just 2 seasons, they've gone from a team where their best players 23 and under were Udoka Azubuike and Nikhil Alexander-Walker to now having 7 first-round level talents, all 23 years and younger. Not to mention the 27-year-old All-Star and 25-year-old 20-point-per-game scorer who they got as throw-ins in the Donovan Mitchell trade. And it's one thing to have all these first-round picks in the war chest and now on the court, but it's another thing when you were actually hitting on those picks. And although it's so early in the process, we know what Walker Kessler brings you as one of the best shot blockers in the NBA.
He puts it on the floor, good test for get on out of here.
You also saw some elite shot blocking traits from Taylor Hendricks in his first season, and then the future star of this group is Keonte George. Now, if you were to just look at Keonte George's counting stats from his rookie season, you wouldn't exactly be blown away by 13 points and 4 assists on subpar efficiency, but it was the flashes of star potential that was the reason so many people like myself think he's the future of this franchise alongside Lauri Markkanen. Yes, Lauri Markkanen. Just look at him here against Josh Okogie, where he attacks him around the Lauri screen, and with Okogie still attached to him, look at the filthy crossover and pull-up midi. This is what makes Keonte such a special talent. He just has a great ability to create separation that doesn't appear to be there, using shifty crossovers and changes of speed to hit pull-up midis and threes at will. Not to mention, he's also got some size at 6'4", so he's able to get out in transition and use that size and athleticism to finish against bigger defenders like here, where he gets right into the chest of McDaniels and puts it in. Or he can also do things like this in transition. Now, it's great that he has this level of athleticism and shooting prowess, but what makes Keonte special is he already has a really high basketball IQ, even as a rookie. Just like on this play, where he has the ball out top. With the Heat in a zone and Lauri having a mismatch, he gives it to Sexton, pointing out the mismatch in the post, which paired with the cut by Hendricks forces the defense to collapse, leaving him wide open for 3. He didn't move at all, but one simple play turned a tightly contested shot into a wide open 3. And as far as showing star potential, it wasn't just moments within games, it was stretches of games throughout the season. Just look at his 4-game stretch at the beginning of March, where he had 31 points and 4 assists versus Miami, 29 and 6 versus Denver, 26 and 6 versus Boston, and 25 and 5 versus Atlanta. He had multiple other games like that, but to have 4 star level performances in consecutive games is always a good sign. And what Utah are doing right now is stockpiling the best talent possible and then figuring out who they should keep or who can then be traded at a later date. Because clearly, Jordan Clarkson, Keonte George, Colin Sexton, Bryce Sensabaugh, and Isaiah Collier cannot exist. But if Danny Ainge and this Utah team have shown us anything, is they can really get value out of anyone on their roster, and are not afraid to then trade those players, which brings me to their second round pick from this year's draft.
What player are you most surprised is still on the draft board today?
Christine, it has to be Kyle Filipowski.
Not only was he a steal, but when I say they can turn anyone into a player of value, Kyle Filipowski being on the Utah Jazz is a result of trading a 33-year-old Kelly Olynyk. And I've said this before, but it's actually starting to get gets scary. The Utah Jazz always find a way to get even. What do I mean? When they traded away a 25-year-old all-star level player, what did they get back in return? When they traded away a dominant rim protector, what did they get back in return? And now this season, they traded away a versatile offensive big man that can space the floor. And in the draft, with that pick, what did they get? You guessed it. And let's talk about Filipowski, because sure, there's some interesting stuff going on in his personal life, which according to all reports, he is not to blame for, but there should be no question marks over his skill set. If you want to see just how versatile he is offensively, look at him here initially face up the defender, drive, spin off him, and once he recognizes the help defense, he's able to hang and then find Proctor in the corner. Guys, that is not a normal play for a 7-foot big man to make. Well, this time getting the ball in the post, and again, look at him notice the double team instantly and find the cutter. With Filipowski, you have a 7-footer who can shoot the ball, face up, drive to the rim, and maybe above all, he just has a great understanding of where cutters and shooters are on the floor, allowing him to consistently make passes that very few other bigs can make. I'd be willing to guarantee that he is going to be a good offensive center in the NBA for the next 10 to 15 years. Whether he'll be good enough as a defender to be a legit starting center is the only question mark, but for a second round pick, you aren't going to get much better than Kyle Filipowski. Now, one thing about Filipowski's defensive limitations is Utah's last 2 draft picks have been guys who have all the tools to be all defense level players. Taylor Hendricks and Cody Williams are both freakishly large, very athletic wings. Williams is a guy who has more in his bag offensively, as someone who can handle and create for others or for himself, like here where he gets past the first defender, kicks it out to the corner before then relocating for the 3. Or how about this move in transition with the initial change of speed before the spin move and Euro step for the layup. There's a reason Cody Williams was the #1 ranked prospect on certain draft boards at times during this season. Whilst Taylor Hendricks is more of a work in progress offensively, but he might not need to be some elite offensive player when you could potentially field a lineup with Keonte George, Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, and Kyle Filipowski. That could be 4 3-level scorers who can all make plays for others. Instead, Hendricks just needs to focus on 2 things: knocking down his 3-point shots and being a menace defensively. And it's plays like this which give you hope he can do just that. He's isolated against Kevin Durant. KD hits him with a little hezzy before attacking the rim, yet Hendricks is able to get up there and block his shot. It's one thing to alter a Kevin Durant shot, but to actually block it is a whole different ball game. Or how about on this play, where he's able to help off Wemby on the drive and meet Sohan's 2-handed dunk attempt at the rim. You also don't want me to tell you how good Lauri Markkanen is, because I will be here all day. And I know everyone thinks he's getting traded. Well, if you thought the Mikal Bridges trade was a Godfather offer, Danny Ainge isn't picking up the phone for anyone who's not offering that level of package and more. Now, if you did make it all the way to the end of the video and want to see more content like this all throughout the off season and going forward, consider subscribing. It's free. Either way, have a nice day. Bye.